Welcome, friends. This is Three Keys to a Peaceful Life, a short series on three timeless teachings from the Buddha. Episode 1, The Trap of Chasing Happiness. Episode 2, The Wisdom of Emptiness. Episode 3, The Reality of Dukkha, the suffering we all share. These aren't abstract ideas, they're practical truths, alive in everyday life, that can help us breathe easier, soften our hearts, and walk with more peace. Let's begin. Episode 1, The Trap of Happiness. Have you ever felt this? The more you chase happiness, the more exhausted you become. We're told, if you're not happy all the time, something is wrong with you. So we run after the next goal, the next gadget, the next achievement. But what if the chase itself is the cause of misery? Tonight, let's slow down. I want to share with you a few timeless stories from the Buddha and some small practices you can test for yourself. Stories about poisoned arrows, about villagers searching for truth, about the pain of two arrows. They are ancient, but they speak directly to our modern hearts. Take a breath. Set aside the chase for just a while. Let's walk this path together. Part 1. The Trap of Pursuit. Have you ever noticed this? The harder we chase happiness, the more tired we become. From the time we were small, the message has been clear. If you're not happy all the time, something must be wrong with you. So we run. New job, new phone, new weekend plan. And each time we tell ourselves, this will be it. This is where happiness will last. But does it? Or does it slip away, leaving us hungry for the next thing? The Buddha compared it to a man struck by a poisoned arrow. Imagine this scene. A man is hit. The arrow pierces deep. Poison burns in his blood. But instead of pulling it out, he insists, wait, first tell me who shot this arrow. Was he tall or short? What caste was he born in? What wood is the shaft made of? Which bird's feathers are these? All the while, the poison spreads. And by the time his questions are answered, he's dead. It sounds foolish. But don't we do the same? We are wounded by craving, yet instead of tending to the wound, we ask endless questions. Can I make happiness permanent? Which method is best? Whose philosophy should I follow? What is the secret formula? Meanwhile, craving keeps working the background, corroding the heart. The Buddha's point is simple. The urgent task is not to figure out whether happiness can be frozen in time. The urgent task is to remove the arrow of craving that keeps stabbing the mind right now. Let's make this practical. Take a quiet moment. Place one hand on your chest. Feel the rise and fall of the breath. Now, notice. What desire is pulling you today? Maybe it's the urge to buy something. Maybe it's the itch to be praised. Maybe it's the hunger for a different future. Whatever it is, whisper softly, craving is here, but I do not have to obey it. Then exhale, as if letting go of the arrow, even just for a breath. Happiness, like the sky, will always change. Sunny, cloudy, stormy. But freedom begins when we stop demanding the sky to stay blue forever. Part 2. Kalama Sutta. See for yourself. There is a small village in ancient India called Kesaputta. The people there were confused. Many teachers came through their town. Each claimed to know the truth. One said, "This is the path." Another said, "No, that is wrong. Follow me." And the villagers, caught in the middle, didn't know who to believe. So they went to the Buddha. They asked, "Master, how can we know what is true when so many voices contradict each other?" The Buddha's answer was gentle but radical. He said, "Do not believe something just because an authority says it. Do not believe it because it's written in scripture. Do not believe it because many repeat it. And do not even believe it because it sounds logical." Instead, he told them, test it in your own life. If a teaching leads to greed, hatred, or delusion, abandon it. If it leads to kindness, clarity, and peace, then cultivate it. This teaching is called the Kalama Sutta, and it's as relevant today as ever. Think about happiness. We are surrounded by voices telling us how to find it. Buy this course, follow this diet, download this app, chase this lifestyle. But the question is not, does the world approve? The real question is, does it actually help your heart? Does your current strategy for happiness make you lighter over weeks and months? Or does it secretly create more grasping, more restlessness, more never enough? You don't need anyone else's permission to answer. Your own experience is the test. Here's a simple experiment. Pick one habit. Maybe scrolling late at night, maybe overchecking email, maybe snacking out of boredom. This week, reduce it by just 25%. Not all the way, just a quarter less. And then notice, does your mind feel clearer or more agitated? That's your Kalamasutta in action. You are the laboratory. Your life is the evidence. If it leads to peace, keep it. If it leads to suffering, let it go, even if the whole world says otherwise. Part 3. The Two Arrows. The Buddha once asked his monks a question. When an ordinary person is struck by a painful feeling, how does he react? He explained, it is like being hit by two arrows. The first arrow is life itself, the pain we cannot avoid. Illness comes, someone we love leaves, plans fail. That is the first arrow. No one escapes it. But then comes the second arrow, the one we fire ourselves. It sounds like this. Why me? This should not be happening. I must be happy. I should be stronger. What's wrong with me? The first arrow hurts. The second arrow doubles the pain, and yet it's optional. Think about a disappointment in your own life, maybe a job rejection, maybe a broken friendship. That was the first arrow. But notice how the mind kept stabbing, replaying the scene, blaming yourself, adding layers of shame and self-criticism. That was the second arrow. The Buddha's teaching here is simple but powerful. We cannot stop every first arrow, but we can stop shooting the second. Here's a practice you can try. It is called RAIN. Recognize what is here. Say softly, sadness is here. Anger is here. Naming it is the first step. Allow it. Let the feeling be present for now without pushing it away. Investigate gently. Where do you feel it in the body? What belief is hiding underneath? Non-identify. Remember, this is a passing state. It is not who you are. Next time life hits you with a first arrow, instead of adding a second one, try RAIN. It won't erase the pain, but it will stop you from making the wound deeper. Because freedom isn't the absence of arrows. It's the wisdom to stop firing them into our own heart. Part 4. What happiness really is. We often mistake happiness for a feeling we can hold on to, like catching a butterfly and keeping it in a jar. But feelings don't stay. They are more like the weather. Sunny in the morning, cloudy by noon, stormy by night. In Buddhism, these passing waves are called Vedana, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral sensations. They are not wrong, they matter, but they are unreliable. Build your life on them and you will always feel unstable. The Buddha pointed to something deeper, well-being that grows from causes, not from chasing moods. He offered a path, the Noble Eightfold Path, not as a dogma, but as training in reliable happiness. It's like tending a garden. You don't command the flowers to bloom, you water the soil, remove the weeds, and trust the season. Right view and right intention remind us, life is not meant to always bend to our preferences. When we let go of the fantasy of permanent pleasure, the heart softens. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood are like cleaning the soil. Each time we speak with care, act with honesty, and choose work that does not harm, we reduce future regret. The heart grows lighter. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration are the steady watering. They stabilize the mind so that joy can arise naturally, like flowers after rain. Notice something. These are actions, not emotions. They are things within our reach, no matter how we feel on a given day. And when we practice them, feelings follow, not always instantly, but like weather after the season shifts. So perhaps happiness is not the glittering trophy we chase. It is the quiet fruit of a wise life. Not a jarred butterfly, but a garden in bloom. Try this reflection. Instead of asking, am I happy right now? Ask, what seeds am I planting today? The first question judges the weather. The second cultivates the season. Part 5. 3 stories, 1 direction. By now, we've walked through 3 teachings. Each is like a lantern shining on the same path. The first was the poisoned arrow. A man was struck and wasted his life debating feathers and wood. The lesson? Don't delay with endless theories. Remove the arrow of craving right now. The second was the Kalamasutta. Villagers, lost in a storm of teachers, asked the Buddha what to believe. The answer? Don't lean on tradition or authority. Test it yourself. Keep what brings peace, release what brings suffering. The third was the parable of the 2 arrows. Life strikes with pain we cannot avoid, but suffering multiplies when we fire the second arrow of self-judgment. The wisdom? Pain is part of being human. Suffering is optional. 3 stories. 1 direction. They all point to the same medicine. Reduce craving, increase clarity, practice kindness. When you hold these 3 together, freedom is no longer an abstract idea. It becomes practical, immediate, right here in daily life. You don't need to wait for perfect conditions. You don't need to solve every mystery of the universe. Start with 1 step. Less craving, more clarity, more kindness. The path is simple. Not easy, but simple. And every small act, a patient breath, a kind word, a wiser choice is already freedom in motion. Part 6. Everyday Pitfalls and Simple Antidotes. The Buddha lived in a world without smartphones, stock markets, or social media feeds. Yet the same human mind, restless, craving, comparing, was there. Today, our pitfalls wear modern clothes. First, the trap of comparison. Open Instagram, and in seconds you are no longer in your own life. Someone else is on a beach in Bali. Someone else just bought a new house. Someone else looks 10 years younger. Suddenly, your ordinary day feels small. Comparison is endless. The Buddha called it dukkha, the dissatisfaction that gnaws at the heart. What's the antidote? Gratitude, but not the vague kind. Write it down. Tonight, before you sleep, note 3 small things that were good enough. The smile of a child, the smell of rain, a meal that filled your belly. Do this for 7 days. Watch how your baseline mood shifts. Second, the trap of over-optimization. We treat life like a dashboard. Steps counted, calories tracked, hours optimized. We turn existence into a spreadsheet, and instead of living, we monitor living. The Buddha's way was different. To sit, to breathe, to know this moment directly. No metrics, no score. Just life, raw and unfiltered. Here's a practice. Once a day, sit for 10 minutes with no goal except this. Follow one breath from beginning to end. That's all. When the mind wanders, bring it back kindly. You don't need to improve anything. You just need to arrive. Third, the trap of consuming to numb. We all know it. Reaching for sugar when stressed, shopping to fill a void, scrolling late into the night because silence feels too sharp. For a moment, it soothes. Then emptiness returns, deeper than before. Try this. Before the next impulse, pause. Take 3 breaths. Ask, will this bring me peace 1 hour from now? If yes, enjoy it fully. If not, choose something gentler. A walk, a glass of water, a call to a friend. These 3 pitfalls, comparison, over-optimization, consumption, look ordinary, even harmless, but they drain the spirit drip by drip. The good news, the antidotes are just as ordinary. Gratitude, stillness, tiny shifts that, over time, change the climate of the heart. Part 7. FOMO, fear of missing out. Have you ever opened your phone just for a minute and suddenly you're gone? Not gone from the room, but gone from your own life. Now you are in Santorini with a friend, closing a deal with a colleague, cooking in a stranger's perfect kitchen, and a quiet voice whispers, "You're late, you're behind, you're missing the good life." That voice is FOMO, the fear of missing out. But in truth, it is just craving in disguise. The same craving the Buddha warned against 20,500 years ago. He taught in the Kalama Sutta, do not believe something because everyone repeats it. Test it for yourself. So test FOMO. After 10 minutes of scrolling, notice, do you breathe deeper or shallower? Do you feel lighter or tighter? Does goodwill grow or does restlessness spread? The body gives the answer before the mind admits it. Here's a small practice. Next time the voice of FOMO bites, pause. Place one hand on your belly, one on your heart. Breathe 3 slow breaths. Whisper softly, may I rejoice in the good fortune of others. May I not lose the goodness already here. This is mudita, sympathetic joy. The art of celebrating rather than competing. Their success does not steal your path. It proves goodness is possible in this world. And then look around. The tea on your desk, the smell of rain drifting through the window, the familiar face across the table. Beauty is not only happening elsewhere, it is here, waiting to be noticed. Part 8, the validation trap. Another pitfall is subtler, the hunger to be seen. We post, we refresh, we count, a wave of likes comes, sweet for a moment, then gone. The silence that follows feels heavier than before, and the mind promises just a little more applause and then I'll be safe. But applause is like weather. It changes by the hour. The Buddha compared it to a man struck by a poisoned arrow. Instead of removing it, he demands, who shot me? What feathers are these? What wood was used? And while he debates, the poison spreads. We do the same. Instead of pulling out the arrow of craving, we waste our strength asking, who approves of me? Do I matter yet? By the time we finish measuring, the wound is deeper. The medicine is not to hate attention, but to shift where we stand, from other people's eyes back to our own integrity. A monk was once asked, Master, can invisible beings harm us? He smiled. Even armed men cannot harm you without conditions. But when the heart radiates goodwill, what reason would anyone, seen or unseen, have to attack? It's the same with validation. When your work is rooted in kindness and clarity, the hunger for recognition thins. You still share, but not to prove you exist. You share to be of use. Try this now. Sit tall, soften your jaw, inhale for 4, exhale for 6, 3 times. Then whisper, known or unknown, praised or ignored, may I act from wisdom and care. Notice how the body settles when value returns to the inside. That is freedom from the validation trap. Part 9, a different definition. We spend so much energy asking, how can I feel good all the time? But maybe that is the wrong question, because feelings rise and fall, just like the tide. No one can hold the ocean still. The Buddha pointed us to a different kind of happiness, not the thrill of a perfect moment, but the steadiness of a well-tended heart. So instead of asking, how can I always feel happy, try asking, what conditions help my heart be wise, kind, and steady? That question changes everything. It shifts the focus from chasing moods to planting causes. And the causes are small, so small we often overlook them. One sentence today that eases fear in someone. Putting the phone down during one meal and actually tasting the food. Forgiving one tiny mistake, your own or someone else's. These are not dramatic gestures. They are seeds. But a seed knows how to become a tree. Plant them, water them, and trust time. The fruit will come. So maybe true happiness is not about getting what we want and holding it forever. It is about creating the conditions where the heart can stay open, steady, and free, whatever weather comes. Take this moment now. Breathe in gently. Breathe out slowly. 10 breaths, nothing more. The mind will wander. Bring it back kindly. This is how freedom begins. Not with fireworks, not with a trophy, but with one wiser response. Repeat it again and again. And if this message resonates, share it with someone you love who is tired of chasing happiness. Because the path to freedom is not found in running faster, but in stepping off the chase and walking with wisdom instead. Happiness, as we usually think of it, cannot be held. It rises, it falls like the sky changing through the day. The Buddha's wisdom was simple. Remove the arrow of craving. Test the teachings for yourself. Stop adding the second arrow of suffering. And plant the small seeds of kindness, clarity, and wisdom. When you do, happiness is no longer a trophy to chase. It becomes a quiet garden that grows by itself. So take 10 mindful breaths now. The mind will wander. Bring it back kindly. That's where freedom begins. Not with a perfect feeling, but with one wiser response, repeated again and again. Friends, what we've explored today is one part of 3 keys to a peaceful life. Together, these 3 teachings, the trap of happiness, the wisdom of emptiness, and the reality of dukkha, open the same door, a life of wisdom, kindness, and freedom. If this talk touched you, please share it with a friend and subscribe so you won't miss the next part of the series. Until then, take it one breath at a time, and may your heart grow lighter.